Silver price has been falling, and this could be a dip before any further upswings, or it could be the start of the next crash. But either way you put it, this is where the biggest wealth transfers actually begin, and the smart money gets in on the action right now. Is this that moment? Well, let's break everything down in today's video as to why that might actually be the case. Want to win 100 ounces of American Silver Eagles completely free? Well, in case you missed out on the first opportunity, JM Bullion is now giving you a second chance to win 5 full tubes of 100 coins packed in a custom waterproof Pelican case. There is no purchase necessary, and the newest and latest giveaway is going to end on December 11th of this year. And if you want to get in on this last opportunity, click the link in the description below for a chance to win. And again, just to be clear, JM Bullion is not sponsoring this channel in any sort of way. This is just me wanting to pass this opportunity along to help you guys out. So don't miss out on this. Click on the link in the description to enter for your chance to win 100 ounces of free silver. Hi everybody, and welcome back to yet another video. So this is a very interesting point in the price for silver, because since we broke past the all-time highs and closed above $50 now for a little bit, the price has started to come back down. And even though we have beaten the all-time highs from the previous two run-ups, the price has dropped heavily each and every single time. And now that we're starting to see the price come back down, are we starting to witness the three-peat in that price movement from silver, or does it go back up into further uncharted territory? And the majority of the people in the community believe that silver would run up into the $55 or $65 range before a pullback would occur. And while we didn't get quite that high in price, we did see a pullback somewhere around the $54 range, which is close enough to give credit to those who didn't expect an extreme run before a pullback. Now, while it is fun to guess where the prices can go, no one truly knows, and anyone who says otherwise is probably lying to you, and you should avoid their advice on things like that. But many people believed that we would see the current prices where we're at by sometime next year, and expectations in general have been shattered by almost everybody, and perhaps only a few handful of people actually and accurately predicted these prices, and they were seen as extremely aggressive forecasting estimates at the time. But nonetheless, wherever we land in the price range, there's always a place of opportunity and a place of fear. Now, you can trace these moments anywhere in time, and it's always advantageous with hindsight to recognize the right and wrong moments, but that can't happen in the present, so we rely on a little bit of foresight and some historical patterns to justify our thoughts and beliefs. But again, depending on which outlook you view this in right now, this dip in silver could be an opportunity or a moment of fear. And how you define an opportunity is subjective, because those who see $50 silver as an opportunity expect higher prices, but those who are fearful don't. And even if the prices fell back down to 20, some are going to view that as an opportunity to buy or a moment of fear. And so, who's correct in all of this? Well, knowing what's happening in the market is important too, because we're in a situation where people want silver and the demand is higher than normal, which is causing a strain on supply, and premiums are starting to increase as a result of it. So unless if you're willing to pony up a few more dollars than usual, then you'll be okay. But at some point, for most people, the prices are going to get inflated with premiums even further. Combine that with the price going down, the premium increases can outpace the dips, and it just keeps the price neutral. And you need to factor that in as well when we're talking about what the price actually is. So it's an interesting moment right now where the prices are going down, but the premiums are going up. And depending on how long this environment lasts is unknown. But either way, at some point, how much you're paying is going to be important, and depending on what you deem to be an opportunity. Now, I forget who said this quote, but I heard someone say something along the lines of, if you don't make money when the markets rally, but you make your money when the market crashes. And I think they were talking specifically about stocks at the time in that quote, but it can still apply to this case. You make your money when the markets crash, because the rally and the upswings after the bear market is so much greater than getting in during the upswing itself, which we all know as the buy low and sell high concept, but again, most people don't do that. So is $50 an opportunity or a fear moment? Well, I can't make that decision for you, but anytime there's a dip in the price, those are usually the best chances to get in. And while I'm not in it for the profits, some people are, and that's okay. I personally don't intend to sell, so I never lose or gain any money until I do decide to sell. But again, one thing we should also remember is that back in the 1980s and 2011s, those who had bought at $50 silver saw those as opportunity moments, but that hasn't even technically been an opportunity until recently. And you only had about a week or so to cash in on maybe a few dollars profit. And we're not even talking about adjusting for any sort of inflation data either. And that's the problem with determining whether you see this as an opportunity or a moment of fear, because you have an obvious 50-50 chance of being right or wrong. And just look at all of the predictions out there on where the price of silver may go. What should be a default 50-50 choice actually seems like a 90-10 failure rate, 90 being, the incorrect choices or predictions. And so you could make the argument based on that alone that you should be fearful because you're going to be wrong. But you can't always be fearful or opportunistic all the time, because you will be wrong eventually, but you'll also be right eventually. And so it's just a matter of which one wins first, because you guys know that saying that a broken clock is right twice a day. But let's say you end up being correct once before. That's just going to make you think highly of your thoughts or your opinions or beliefs, even if it was just a one-off situation. So you may feel forced to make a decision between the two, but I'll tell you that you don't need to pick either one of those. You do have the option to dollar cost average, and we talk about that a lot in the community. And it is a strategy people use for their investments because you can't predict highs and lows with any sort of accuracy. So buying consistently will allow you to smooth out those extremes and keeps you unemotional when any sort of market turbulence does hit, like what we're seeing today. So if you're new and you're just getting started, well, this is where your starting point is. This is your opportunity to get into precious metals, not because of where the price is at, but because we can still physically hold the forms of metal. And until that disappears, there will always be an opportunity. And the price is just the price, and it shouldn't persuade you from thinking any sort of way. Now, while that can be difficult to conceptualize, it is a skill set that you'll need to develop if you're trying to be a dedicated stacker. For the profit takers out there, that's not going to sit well for them, but again, this isn't a channel on how to make profits. So, is this a pullback or a reset? Well, I can't tell you that because I don't know, and no one else should, with any form of confidence, give you any sort of answer either. But we can speculate for fun, and we shouldn't make any decisions based off of that. But whether this is a good buying opportunity or not, the dollar cost average method is going to be your best strategy. And if this is a dip in price before another rise up in the price of silver, then this is where you can grow your weight in ounces even more, or get in on some lows before the next highs if you're into taking profits. But that being said, guys, where do you think we are at right now? Are we on track for a three-peat in the crash price for silver, or are we seeing just a slight pullback before we rip even higher? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye, guys.